Thanks for clicking on the bonus footage for the August song, Time for Me. Like I said, we're going to talk about three aspects of the song. We're going to look at it musically, theologically, and then prophetically. So let's talk about the music. There's not a lot going on here. It's not a real complicated song. Guitar parts are not very difficult. Vocal parts are not very difficult. But there were a few things that were real interesting to me about this song. The first of which is that, and I don't think I've ever said this about a song, literally wrote it in about 6 minutes. I mean, this, I think 8 days ago. Yeah, 8 days ago, I had my guitar out. I was playing. I was working through some other song ideas, and I just started singing these words. And I got to tell you, it was an uncanny experience that these words were just coming out of my mouth, and they made sense, and they rhymed, and they were on this line of thought, and it was almost like I'm sort of a third party, just sort of standing out like, what's happening with the guitar and this guy singing? I've never had that happen before in a song. As a matter of fact, the song that you heard me play is pretty much it. I tweaked a couple of lines, but very different for me, just a very strange experience for me. I normally don't write that way, and really don't prefer to write that way. But I think as you hear me talk about it here over the next few minutes, it'll begin to make a little sense to you. All right, so let's talk about theology of the song. There's a line in the song that I've really kind of battled with for about a week. It's in the pre-chorus section, which the line basically is, I know I've made a mess of everything that you have blessed. Or in the second pre-chorus, I know I make a mess of things you've already blessed. The original line as I was singing it was actually, I know I've made a mess of everything you want to bless. And I will say that was very honest for me. That's the way I was feeling at the time, is that, okay, God, I know you want to bless and to grow and to sanctify. I know you want to do these things, and I feel like I make a mess of them. And that's a very true statement. It's very sincere. However, as I begin to look at it, in what I believe Scripture teaches about God, that God blesses what He wants. God does what He wants. He is the author and the finisher of our faith. And I begin to just struggle with that line, because singing it sounded like I was saying, God, I've made a mess of things you want to bless, almost as if I'm thwarting God's plans. Almost as if, hey, I've messed up what you were intending to do. And I don't think that that's true. So as I thought about it, it really became more about, okay, I am making a mess of things that you've already ordained for good. God, I mean, I get in there and I just mess them up, and I get in the way, and I become selfish, and I'll become prideful, and all these things. And so then I change to sort of a statement of affirmation. God, you have blessed. So I've made a mess of everything that you have blessed, everything that you've already blessed. Because while that was very sincere for me, that first line, everything you want to bless, is very sincere and very pure, the reality is singing that could be a little bit confusing. So when you're writing worship songs, you have to be very careful, because believe me, there was nothing in that first line, there was nothing selfish or wanting to take God out of the mix. It was a sincere, pure idea of the song. But when I sang it out and began to think about asking people to sing it, I began to realize that while that was very pure and very sincere, it may not be the right way to say it. And so when you write worship songs, that's what you have to watch for. Yes, you want to be sincere, but there is always that evaluation of, okay, I know what this means. I don't mean it bad. I don't mean it selfishly. But when I sing it in front of 100 people, what's going to happen? Am I asking them to sing something that might not be true to Scripture? It might not be true of God, because we don't want to do that, okay? And I think with anybody who wants to create art, who are also people of faith, that is always the balance. Yes, you want to be honest. You want to be sincere. I don't care if it's in a painting or in a dramatic work or in writing or in music or in any sort of artistic endeavor, really in any sort of communication endeavor. You want to be sincere, but as people of faith, our first and foremost job is to glorify God and to represent Him truthfully. And so as you get involved in writing worship songs and doing some of these things, you've got to check yourself on those deals. Yes, I know what I meant, but does it come across that way? So theologically, that was a little bit of a sticking point that I've just kind of had to work on all week of, hey, does this make sense? Does this say something that's true of God, but also true of our experience and true of my experience? So anyway, that's kind of the theological side of it. And then the prophetic side of this, and I know a lot of people hear the word prophetic and they kind of freak out, but I will tell you without taking too much time, I wrote this song on a Monday afternoon, pretty much, and then Monday night had my world rocked just a little bit. Nothing catastrophic, nothing major, but just Monday night as I was sort of going to bed after a really long night and a lot of prayer and a lot of doubt and a lot of confession and just a kind of one of those nights where you sort of go to war with God over stuff. This song came back to my mind that I had written a song Monday afternoon that was literally coming to life in my heart Monday night. That may sound strange, that may sound weird, but I can only tell you that because it's true. And when I woke up Tuesday morning, just being sort of astounded that God would choose to have me write a song before I went through a thing. And so this week, I've just been kind of holding on to that song, and it's begun to mean a lot to me because it is sort of a marker in my life of an important day, an important, I think, a development in my relationship with God and His grace and His mercy. And so it's very strange. It's very strange. I don't think I've ever had a song work that way. It seems a little like the reverse. It seems like you'd go through a thing and then you'd write a song. So anyway, that's basically it. Sort of three components of writing a really quick song that is very, very honest and trying to shape up that honesty into something that could work corporately, but then realizing that God was totally talking to you as He talked through you. So that's the song, Time for Me. I'd love to know what you think about it. I'll keep you posted should I decide to develop it more and maybe use it in worship. So anyway, love your comments. Thank you guys for watching these things.